As an investor, since long time in Italy, do you think that there is still room for new ones in Italy?
Italy is not overshopped fundamentally. I mean, the macro numbers prove that very clearly. You don't invest in a country, you don't really invest in regions, you invest in properties in cities. So that's where your research should be done. Italy is undersupplied compared with France. Careful, a lot more boxes in France, all the retail parks across the Route Nationale, etc. So if you take those out, they're probably a little bit more similar. But people can shop there in the same way they can shop in a shopping centre. The reason people have been focusing on supply, I think, Ricky, is that Italy's been playing catch-up for many years. So a lot of catch-up development, so everyone's talking about supply. I think there'll be a lot of activity in upgrading and extending stock. I think that's where there should be a lot of activity. Where the market is more saturated, buy the property and go for an upgrade and extend it if you can. Make sure the net initial yield lets you spend the money that you would need to spend. Last thing I would say is that development finance is going to be pretty hard to come by. So if you have a good relationship with a bank, you're fine, you'll get your project away. North versus south, we've never been keen on the south. We won't go below Lazio and Abruzzo regions for all sorts of reasons, business transparency, wealth, but that's not the purpose of this conference. But I think you have to keep, particularly in this moment, to stick what you know and what you feel in your stomach happy doing, and then I think shareholders will be happy too.
The balance between commercial malls versus retail parks, standalone shops. Which is the easiest way to develop a chain which requires large surfaces in Italy, according to your experience?
In the 6 countries where we have our branches, we want to set up favorite meeting places. We intend to strengthen our portfolios in all these 6 countries, and especially in Italy. One of our projects, for example, is the Palazzo del Lavoro in Turin, 28,000 square meters, which is small compared to our own standards, but it is right in the heart of the city of Turin. The philosophy guiding our investment is to invest on assets that have the necessary and good fundamentals. There is also another project right in the heart of another city. So here we are talking about urban renovation projects. In some cases, public assets will be turned into private assets, or in the case of Turin, we are talking about an actual monument. But concerning medium surfaces, I think that most of these medium surfaces are top in the list of productivity.
I heard somebody saying that commercial malls can be divided in 2 categories, local and regional ones, depending from their dimension and attractiveness. Are both interesting?
I think it's important, first of all, to point out that a few centers that were originally designed to be regional centers, they turned out to be local centers. We have to accept that these centers are now local centers. We have to improve their efficiency, or another possibility is to upgrade them into more important shopping malls. For sure, there is room for both types of shopping centers. Italian consumers actually give a lot of value to ease of access. They don't want too large centers where they get lost, so they prefer a smaller center. The food outlet, food supply is still very important, is still key in all these shopping malls. I think there are many opportunities for these shopping malls. They just share the same consumers. In other words, these regional centers, they may be both a local, close-by shopping center, and at the same time provide them with some extra experience, offering them entertainment, movies, etc.
It seems that designer outlet centers are performing better than other distribution channels. Is it true?
We have created what I believe is the benchmark for designer outlet centers across Europe since we opened our first in 2000. We tend to focus on opening our centres at about 20,000 square metres and adding additional space in phases. This is to really differentiate ourselves from existing and up-and-coming competitors. What we've discovered is that in the locations where we are, with the brand lineup that we have, with good management, we can drive very interesting performance from our centres. But this is mostly thanks to the brands themselves, who have come with us and have created effectively a unique attraction within the greater catchment area. Our project, the northeast of Italy in Veneto, is a case in point where we have 30 of the world's luxury brands. And that allows us really to focus on pulling people from a very, very wide area. Tourism is becoming increasingly important to us as we have a unique offer. I refer back to Veneto, where we have, for the first 9 months of this year, our numbers of tourists are 150% up against last year.
High street versus commercial mall location, which could be a wise strategy to attack the Italian market, and which are the more relevant difficulties in developing and managing a retail chain in Italy?
È la domanda. Penso che non ci sia una strategia.
I don't think there is one single strategy. I think that everything, because it depends on what is the product you want to sell, who is the consumer you are targeting, and what is the brand you want to develop. You can't have just one single strategy, one fit-for-all strategy. The more the brand, the more the product is a high-level product, the more I suggest you keep your footprint in the high streets. The more your product is low, medium level, the more you can change the proportion of your high street outlets and shopping malls. So you can actually develop more in shopping malls, and then from that to move on to high streets. High streets in Italy are still a very strong point of aggregation. Don't waste your time and money for a second-rate location. And another piece of advice, don't start straight from Corso Vittorio Emanuele, Via Calzaioli, I mean the top high streets either in Rome or in Milan. I always suggest to test, first of all, in smaller cities where retail business is more difficult, where you may have more problems in getting your customers.
As an Italian executive, then you told us a few months ago you have been appointed the CEO, how you can explain to American board members the difficulties of the Italian market and nevertheless obtain their support to invest in developing in your Italian network?
In Italy, we are lucky because, as like Tom Hilfiger, we are a fashion brand, and you tell me whether there is another international, globally international, successful company if this company is not strong in Italy. So you need to be strong in Italy in order to be successful in the rest of the world. That's and our American board is fully aware of this. If we are not strong in Italy, we will not be recognized as a fully successful international brand. The answer could be that it was not difficult for us because our case history showed us that we were able to be successful by leaving local executives room and freedom to act.
And how is the Italian customer different from the rest of Europe?
The Italian client is in a textile market which is much used to fashion. 50% more is spent on fashion than in France amongst youngsters. We have the type of offering in the high street where we will generate our image and we will gain experience that will increase for our clients. But the specificities of the Italian client, for me, is that the Italian client is very demanding. compared with our different divisions for the menswear, for example, above and beyond accessories, because we usually say men are becoming more feminine. They don't only buy clothes, they also buy accessories, bags, scarves, creams as well. To talk about S.r.l, we're in the north, whether we're in the north in Sweden or in Italy. When you carry out surveys, women always mention 3 brand names. If it's in Spain, it's like Zara. If it's in Italy, it's different. But there are always 3 names which spring to mind. What I observe in the men's market is that there's not a very clear vision of a dominant brand. And my ambition is for S.r.l to be the dominant male brand.